Working in a DIY way allows you to sort of build these relationships that can be mutually beneficial and that can grow and have impacts that go beyond whatever that initial partnership was about.
So many different little things is coming from people who have ideas that, you know, it may not be the general trend of everything that is happening like on a massive scale, but like it's definitely worth and has value like on a smaller scale.
With the nature of DIY, a lot of smaller communities doing it separately, autonomously, all from each other. You may not be aware of each other, and there's a lot more going on than you're initially aware of, which is kind of the fun magic around DIY culture.
Kwende, Michael, and Seiiizi and I have so many different interlayering relationships with each other between different jobs that we've worked together. Underneath the capsule installation is very intimate, and so it really didn't feel like it felt informal and casual and four homies just talking about organizing, so that was great.
The idea that DIY is not, it ends up not being just yourself, but there's a whole group of folks who end up playing a part in it through their own agency. Once you experience that, and that happens over a long period of time, you start thinking about, okay, well then how can we better organize this, you know what I'm saying, and start to really have some more purposeful impact through these activities.
Cities have been identified through these different small cultures that have extended and met out with other members of community or people who identify with the facets too, you know, coming in and creating spaces and creating gatherings and kind of creating cultural shifts.
There was a big thing with New York and hip-hop. This was a culture that was sort of an antithesis to this corporatized gatekeeping that was going on with disco culture, and I saw that again with the rave and the rave reaction when rave became a very, very expensive business proposition that people were putting on these large events. This is supposed to be for people gathering, dancing, and enjoying this music together, and so this underground movement of people doing it themselves for the sake of doing it, most often doing it for free, and people are going to have energetic, good, fun times with it.
It's incredible that the National Gallery has invited TIMEKODE and Kwende into this space to program in the capsule and to have a TIMEKODE party here on November 25th. Because I don't know that any other party organizer has been able to do that at the National Gallery. I think that it maybe made larger institutions realize there has to be an underground, there has to be outsiders for there to be you know, establishments and insiders like there are here.